For Street Focus for 40 minutes. Greetings and salutations, Focus Up family. Welcome to the February 28, 2026 installment of the Focus Up Show. We thank you for tuning in with us live first Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on YouTube and various other platforms, or catching up with us on replay. And we ask that you click that like, that subscribe, that bell, and share to support and maintain your weekly Focus Up fix. I am Mr. Nice Guy, nice as in the word Saint spelled backwards. And today, my co-hosts are Brother Vic, Brother Hayes, representing from Shaolin, you know what I'm saying? So he's gonna be giving us some insights, We got Brother Walk, star of, first of all, and I should say author of Bowen, critically acclaimed book. So, but let's speak about Brother Walk, host of Sex Talk with Walk, every Thursday at 9 p.m. and co-star of Street Focus on Sundays at 6 p.m. We got Student X, star of Mutant Politics and contributor, co-star to Objective Deconstruction. I don't know if you're going to be on today, brother, but I put you on the bill just the same. We got Mr. Floyd X, the boss man, and co-star of Street Focus on Sundays at 6 p.m. And infamous El Pooh, star of Spin That Back, Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. No Spin That Back today. Today we're gonna have an objective deconstruction with me, Brother Afro Agnostics. He's a little tardy today. I don't know if Student X is gonna be on there, but I did send you an invitation, Brother Hayes, in the event that you want to come on to that. So that's what's up. Okay. So that having been said, let's get to the kid. Brother Hayes, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you, Thomas?
I'm doing pretty all right. Hey, you use my government. No, I'm just kidding. I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. I got some very good news about my mother going through what she's going through. So that's pretty good. So, Brother Watt, what's going on with you, sir?
I'm just here. I'm in my kitchen. This is the safest area. Preparing for some nuclear fallout, I'm ready. And I got my son here. I got my son here in case I gotta douse some water on his head and save his life. Because we are at war right now, which we didn't suspect to pop off so quick. Woke up, we was not. Right. Now.
Just remember, duck and cover. It's proven technique that'll work. So, brother, Student X, what's going on with you, sir?
Yeah, brother, just I'm in a really melancholy mood, I would say, just in general, just based on just everything, current events, world events, personal events, but real focus, hence the Focus Up Show. I'm glad to be here with you, brothers.
That's what's up. Mr. Floyd X, what's going on? First of all, shout out to JC, original Focus Up founding father. What's up with you, brother? Top of the morning to you, sir. Mr. Floyd X, boss man, what's going on with you, sir?
Chilling, man. Just here ready, was getting the show together this morning. Found out that we was going to war. Man. Trump, the president of peace, the so-called president of peace, said, let me practice some more peace this morning. And started with Iran, launching some bombs at Iran. We'll see how that go.
Man. Infamous El Pooh, what it do?
Yeah, I'm here, and I'm just looking at the president, and I know he's bored of peace, so it's time to go to war. So let's go.
All right, so let's first start off, with the RIPs. We got the first RIP is going to be to Brother Willie Colon, who was an architect of urban salsa. He died at the age of 75. Let me just read a little bit about this brother. So he's the Grammy-nominated architect. Over his decade-long career, the trombonist, composer, arranger, and singer produced more than 40 albums and sold more than 30 million copies worldwide. He collaborated with a wide range of artists, including the Fania All-Stars, David Byrne, and Celia Cruz. This brother, and it was not only that, there was the whole activist angle. wish Brother Afro Agnostic was on here because he'd be able to give you some more insight about that. I'm not necessarily big in the know about salsa, but I respect the hell out of salsa. I love the groove. I love all that. And I know that Bad Bunny did a recent tribute to this brother. So, you know, salute to the OGs that lay down music. As you know, a lot of us have our hip hop affiliation association, so I can just respect that as that relates to, you know, another music. Brother
Hey,
Hayes, go ahead.
Real quick. I finally found somebody who says salsa worse than me.
Baton Rouge. That's how you pronounce it.
My wife always complained about the way I say salsa. It still sounds worse than mine.
What's up with you?
One more thing I wanted to say was that he sampled in hip hop also. He sampled a lot in hip hop. The Willie Colon. But my bad. Go ahead, brother.
So I was just gonna say I was being racist because I know about your sort of like your background a little there, Mr. Hayes, but you wouldn't happen to know anything about Mr. Colon. I'm not trying to put you on the spot there, but you know, can you hear me? Oh.
No, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to meet him. I can hear you. Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's right. I can hear you. So unless anybody else wants to add something else to it, I will pivot on the dramatic pause. All right, so let's talk about rest in peace to Brother Power. Now, this is a brother you did know. Now, as I understand, you know, not only was he a big player behind the scenes, but, you know, he was actually the architect of WooWare. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's some big things, but let me give you the first bite at it, Mr. Hayes, because again, you grew up with all of those cats, so you know a little something about them on the inside.
Yes, yeah. So before I get into it, I just wanted to, in the event of any of the Grant family is watching, you have my deepest condolences in regards to, you know, losing such a powerful figure, and not only in obviously Park Hill, which is where we grew up, but in the entire hip hop world and community. So just want to kind of say that. So Ali, or what we knew him as in the neighborhood, we used to call him Pookie. So if I ever revert to saying Pook or Pookie, that's because that is the name that we all were familiar with if you grew up in Park Hill. And he, from a very young age, was you know, he was a very resourceful young man. I remember going to middle school with him. He was 2 grades ahead of me. And at times he used to actually drive a BMW to school. And you know, if you do the math on that, that's not even old enough to drive, much less even get life. So needless to say, he always knew kind of like how to get it. I was a person growing up that really wasn't on the corners or anything, but I was always out and about. And for some reason, he took a liking to me. We used to chop it up like here and there. I was a big break dancer. He wasn't into the break dancing, but he was an amazing artist. And I think that's something that for those that maybe know him on the surface were unaware of when it came to him. The other thing is he was obviously one of the architects to really getting the Wu-Tang off the ground, him and Divine Diggs. So I know Raekwon is taking this very hard. I don't know if people are aware, but him and Raekwon are actually cousins. So if you if you see any posts with Raekwon, I know he's probably taking this like very, very heavy. Just like you know, RZA and Divine and Power were like the initial managers that really got Wu off the ground, and Divine and RZA are actually brothers. So, but like I'm getting into, again, just a really go-getter, a person that was resourceful, understood like the vision RZA was trying to create and was able to fund it. Got the Woo Wear merchandise going in 1995 on Staten Island. It was actually on Victory Boulevard. I had went to that store a couple of times.
Salute to that, brother. That was Woo Wear. That was my favorite clothing at the time. Now I'm glad that's interesting to know that he created that clothing line or helped create that clothing line. But that was like my favorite, Woo Wear.
Yeah, that was definitely
the one thing that he couldn't control is. Yeah, the one thing he couldn't control was the counterfeit, merchandise from it. Probably if you saw somebody wearing a Woo Wear shirt, it was like a 50-50 chance. It could be the authentic stuff or like something from, especially in the 90s, you know how we came up, like that was like a thing. Like Cali, doesn't matter, New York, bootleg stuff was like everywhere. So, so that was
that's gonna be the
one
issue
of the things for
music or whatnot. Yeah, that's gonna be the
issue. Right, exactly. But he was right. So that was a part of like the business model for him. I mean, he wanted to try to control it, but that unfortunately just couldn't get a grasp on. But it was a very popular franchise, and again, for somebody like me, it's very intimate. I'm a part of a very unique few people that grew up with him, and these members of the Wu. And I'm in Germany. I'm seeing somebody wearing a Wu-Tang shirt. You know how unique that is. For a person like myself. But then to think of he's the foundation of
I'll say
why
this,
they were able to manifest this
worldwide. The Wu-Tang is the best sort of like organization of a clicking of sort of like successful individual activities and then coming together like Voltron, sort of like in hip hop history. You had the forefathers that laid down that stuff after fashion, like with the Juice Crew. But even the Juice Crew tell you that look, Wu-Tang, even out of an angry person in Shannon tell you that Wu did it the best. But that having been said, rest in peace to this brother. Yeah. Let's talk about this terrible stuff that's going on in Iran. Now, brother Student X, where are you? I was gonna let you so anyways, there you go, brother Student X. Let's put this brother. First of all, let me say welcome to the party, Mr. Afro Agnostics. We did RIP on Willie Colon.
Okay.
So you did miss that. I will say this. I will give you a moment to concisely say something about it, and then let's talk about the Iran situation.
Okay. So, Willie Colon he was a trombonist, band leader. He's really responsible for the salsa sound that we know that we think of as salsa from the 60s and the 70s. That modern salsa sound is from Willie Colon. If you ever saw Zaire 74 when Ali did the Rumble in the Jungle in Zaire, Fania All-Stars were there. That was Willie Colon. Hector Lavoe, who was played by Mark Anthony, Viva. Voyage goes on. He married Jennifer Lopez. He played Hector Lavoe in the movie El Cantante, but Hector Lavoe was discovered by Willie Colon. So he was a man behind the scenes. He was a Quincy Jones of that Bronx, Puerto Rican, Afro salsa sound that became known as salsa. So I'll just say that.
That's what's up. Student X, you were a prophet. You said that those that stuff wasn't obliterated over there. You know what I'm saying? But Trump said it was, and apparently, they were some of the quickest builders in the world over there. What you got to say about what's going on over there?
Yeah, I mean, it's real similar to what Candace said. I got a screenshot up there. Let's see what Candace said.
Oh, yeah. No one should ever sign up for the United States military outside of those who wish to join the IDF. Go home and defend your neighborhoods instead. Let the Mark Levins and Ben Shapiro's send their offspring instead. We are an occupied nation. That is why Charlie was murdered. Yeah, I agree with some of that stuff. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know what? I do much respect to brothers like Brother Walk and the brothers Johnson who actually did serve. So, I don't want to poo-poo on that. But on that note,
it's no knock on those that serve, per se. Like me myself, I was headed to the Air Force Academy to be a pilot, and that was my lifelong dream, was to fly, to fly airplanes in general. And of course, there's no higher level to do that and achieve that in the United States military. And then, luckily for me, in high school, I started developing, a certain level of consciousness that ultimately, didn't allow me to go that route. But those that did, who made that sacrifice, then, to each their own. We all go our paths. So my unfortunately, it's not like are those who are patriotic and want to go serve our country. They're not the problem. The problem is those that are running the country who have allowed a foreign government and interest to control what it is that we do, as a country. This war is not in the best interest of the United States at all. In fact, the majority of our population is totally against this war. Yet we see that Trump's hands was forced to go and do something that, again, is really anti-American. We're seeing that Iran is going to be able to withstand attacks, and already the mission has failed. Regime change was not accomplished, is unlikely to be accomplished. So already mission failed, and then how many U.S. lives are going to be lost? How many? We already know that 2 schools were bombed, elementary school girls' schools were bombed in Iran. Already, we have 100 dead little girls. Already as a consequence of this war that is illegal, and unsanctioned, and again pose no threat to the United States. So. I'll stop now. Let others chime in, but yeah, I'm against it.
I seen you shaking your head, Alpha Ignatius. I'm gonna come to you afterwards, Walk. But go ahead, Alpha Ignatius. What were you shaking your head?
Because Student X is giving credit to Candace Owens, again, someone who, like he talked about him developing this consciousness back in the day. She's just now developed the consciousness yesterday, and somehow she's giving accolades. The United States has been a rogue imperialist state. We know this. When have they ever fought a just war? Yeah. This war is unjust. What the fuck? What war was just? Name one. Since 1776 up to the present, they've been bombing, killing, and committing genocide against Black and brown people and people of color. So I don't see why there's this sudden, we would give accolades to Tucker and the Candace Owens of the world. They're late. They need to be given accolades. They need to bow at the feet of the left, who already had this understanding of Trump in particular 10 years ago. So, but anyway, this is just a continuation of what we saw in Venezuela, what's going on in Cuba.
Hey,
US
Sorry to interrupt. Real quick. We got breaking news. We got the president on the reason Iran conflict. We got a statement from the president.
Ineffective. Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective.
That's from the president. I guess that somebody said that didn't age well.
Yeah, he was talking about Obama, by the way, in case you didn't know. And I mean, again, I guess he's that haven't been said. But were you finished? Did you have something else to say before Ms. Alpha Ignatius, before I pass the Walk?
No, that was done, Dada. Yeah.
There you go, Brother Walk. What you got to say about this?
King Trump is kind of tripping on this. This is really him just doing whatever the fuck he want to do, and knowing no one will or can stop him. He know damn well if a Republican don't catch them next 2 presidential elections, he will be impeached for war crimes. This is straight war crimes. Everything that he's doing, totally absurd, totally unnecessary. Now, as far as with the military thing, I'd rather be on this side than their side. And they was obliterated, because if they wasn't, they would be responding with nukes. Brother Still Next and the other guys.
That's not a
here.
true statement. Whoa.
It is a true statement.
They not gonna just respond with nukes, dude. That's
Okay.
the escalation. Nobody just responds with nukes.
They about to be obliterated again. So that's what it is.
Oh, so you talking about the new definition that Trump made about obliteration? His definition of obliteration.
They got their door kicked in and didn't do shit. Somebody kicked my door in, I'm gonna retaliate. They are just, yeah.
Real quick, somebody asked somebody that came to the show late asked about the mask.
I'm waiting on the nuclear fallout.
Okay.
I'm prepared.
The application there for ICE.
And somebody else said the way the show ended last week was classic. Loved it.
That shit was hilarious, dude. What you gotta say? I leaned in like this. I was ready to hear what he gotta say. But hey, one more thing. Student X, somebody asked, they want to know, you have Team Iran at the bottom. Why?
That's real simple. You know, I've been anti-imperialism my whole entire life that I can remember, and I stand on the moral high ground of situations. I can have a family member take a position that is not on that moral high ground, and just because they're my family member doesn't mean they garner and get my support. And the same is true with the U.S. government. I've never been on the side of the U.S. government. I haven't saw since in my adult life. They've always represented everything that I watched as a child. And oppose like I like Star Wars, right? The United States government was more like the empire than the rebels. What I mean? More recently, the Avatar came out. United States government was more like that corporation, inhabiting a moon, Jupiter. What I'm saying? Then, again, true freedom, justice, righteousness. So, yeah, what this represents right now is that, the United States used to be a monolithic power, a unilateral power in the world, but that day is done. And then we saw what was going on underneath the rule of the United States. We had Epsteins that were put in power, people eating children and abusing children, and all the wickedness that's going on, under this era, and now we're coming to a new era that's coming in power where the United States is no longer the unilateral power. And I think that's in the best interest of the world and humanity. So I am Team Iran, Team BRICS. I would like to see not more casualties from either side, but I would like to see, what a victory, if you will, for Iran. What that would mean is, again, a defeat to imperialism. What I mean? Right now, people are looking to contain the United States of America. People, they don't want to work with the United States of America, the government. The people, they look at you as punk and chumps too, because how you're letting your political leaders rule over you, and they're known to be abuser of children. They're known to lie to you in your face, and you just accept it. You don't take to the streets. You don't regime change them. You know what I mean? So, they really don't. They'll smile in your face, but they don't think much of you either. But in terms of the government, they absolutely despise our government, and I do too.
Let me respond real fast. I'm on booking.com. You want a window or aisle seat, Mr. Still Next?
No. Hey, that's the beautiful thing about what, at the time we're in right now, is that before I used to be more alone in my rhetoric, but today the more of the masses of Americans, people who want peace, freedom, justice, and equality throughout the world are adopting this. So now, I can speak more freely, than others can. What I mean? And we could in the past. But I'm not alone today. What I mean? There are warriors, and patriots who feel the same as I do right now.
You used to be alone, but now Candace and Tucker have joined you. I get it.
Hey, and a beautiful thing, because now we used to always say back before you guys were ever even thinking about being revolutionaries, if you're that now, was that, man, when white people, wake the hell up, and get and understand, that the role their government is playing, and the atrocities that's taking place, man, then this world's going to be a better place. You know, we're going to be able to take out the wicked. You know what I mean? And now we're starting to see more of that mindset, you know, be rise up, that consciousness. And that's a good thing. That's something to celebrate. I'm not going to get mad because we have Johnny come latelys.
Let me put a question out there. With this Iran conflict, what's going to be the outcome? Is it going to be a toppling of the government, the Iran government, or is it going to be more of the same BS? And this is just a show of strength or something to deflect from the news? Let's get some answers as to what is the outcome going to be. Predictions.
Okay, first of all, let me
interject. I think that was a great question. We're going to get more or less more of the BS. And full disclosure, I am not a fan of the president or this administration. And I think what the spin we will hear is the fact that he had a peace deal for 2 months. Iran never came to the table for it, and then they did what was necessary. And then his supporters are going to really eat that up. That's pretty much it. And much of this is, as we know, is a distraction for the Epstein files, how he handles just general, you know, day-to-day practices. And he knows he has a base as well as an administration that will support no matter what he does. So we're not going to see any truth. We're not going to see any clarity or just a whole lot more, I would say, chaos, because that's all I've seen since he's been, you know, the president since 2025.
I hear you on
that's
that.
My take on it.
Infamous El Poo, what's your take? That's my take. So that's my take as well. Infamous El Poo, what's your take?
I think everything's been said basically. The only thing I can say is, let me just quote John McCain. Bomb, 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 Iran. That's what's going on. And it's all a distraction from the Epstein files, and that's the biggest distraction to come up with right now. And it is where it is. I don't think they really have a plan. I just think it's just cause a conflict and try to see what happens after that. They don't have a plan. I mean, if they really had a plan, I mean, actually, you know what? I feel like this. I don't trust this government. They're even shooting down their own drones at this point. You know what I'm saying? So what are they going to do over there in Iran that's going to make a difference?
Brother Walk, what's your answer to that question?
I'm just tripping like, at least G.W. Bush, at least he had a whole campaign of bullshit as to why we should go to war. Like this, King Trump is just doing it and declaring war basically with no fallback, no repercussions. But I'm kind of thinking that they just want to hit the reset button and kill off half the country. That's because I don't see no reason for all of this other than maybe this might be the closest thing to Jewish supremacy ever, because with Israel and America working together to basically destroy this country. That's just kind of what it's saying. I really don't see what the end game is like other than that, man.
Brother Afro Agnostics.
Well, I wanted to say really quick, the largest anti-imperialist force in the United States has always been the left, and more specifically the black left. So I don't know how you can
be
You said the anti, right? Anti-imperialist, anti-U.S. imperialist force. I don't see how you can be anti-U.S. imperialist and at the same time be patriotic or support people that were MAGA, who want to make America great again, a great imperial power. Once again, want to bring about implicit, latent imperialism, and that's what Trump is about. It's even a different type of imperialism. It's more rogue. It's like detached from international norms. He's pulling away from international bodies, from the UN. So it's strictly and exclusively unilateral. So I think we should expect, like what the brother said, international norms of disruption, of chaos, of international norms. The United States is always, have a president in the Middle East ever since World War II. That was the whole purpose of supporting Israel. That's the establishment of Israel was for British imperialism initially. Then, the British lost influence and power. It was passed to the United States. And that's why Israel is there, is to serve the interest, to prevent boots from having to be on the ground, which would be more expensive, which kind of what you're seeing right now in Iran. So, the United States has intervened in Iran politically and militarily in the past. So what we see is just a continuation. And, the people who know that the most are the left, the black left in particular, and particular organizations like the Black Panther Party, as an example.
Student X.
Oh,
go ahead. Yeah, Mr. Floyd X, go ahead.
Yeah.
Student X.
I was just gonna say how they gonna know they new to the revolution. How they gonna know? Just a joke. Go ahead, Student X.
Yeah. So first, I want to address the distraction portion of the comments. Is that everything else that you've been observing, Epstein's, Bad Bunny, Super Bowl, all those were the distractions to distract you from what was the buildup of where we're at now today, which is the Iran war. When you go all the way back to George W. Bush, and then you had the neocons first emerge on the stage, where we knew, when we understood what that term was and who the people in the new American century were. Iran was the last nation they had on the list to fall. And the reason why is Iran is the only nation within that region that stops the dominance of Israel, and the West, inside that region. They're the only ones that stand within that range. They're the only ones in that area that has been supporting and those Palestinian people, as well as others inside of that region. The ones who's been standing up for the stability inside the region, and again, they oppose what Israel's doing. So that is the reason why Iran is being targeted. There's no doubt about that. Now, the other, in terms of outcomes, and what to expect. First of all, the war will worsen. Okay, this is only the beginning. Not Israel, but Iran is real similar to, is taking this like how Russia is taking, as how they're moving, real methodical, right? Because America and Israel have a limited weapon supply. They don't have the same amount of ballistic missiles that Iran has, which is why when the negotiations came up, it wasn't about nuclear, weapon, because the ambitions of the Muslim regime there is that we don't want nuclear weapons. They created enough of a deterrent with conventional ballistic missiles and the technology that they have to where they don't even need a nuclear arsenal. And so that was the number one thing they wanted to do. So things are going to get worse. That means that Trump, come mid-elections, he's going to suffer tremendously, because there will be a tremendous American casualties, that take place, due to the strategy that's being deployed. And then because of that, he will be impeached, and then he might go to jail. I think that he already, his political future was already, on thin ice. His whole base had turned against him. He wasn't doing anything that he said he was going to do. So MAGA is already dead. It's already been obliterated. So he had nothing to lose. This was his last chance was, let me strike Iran. Hope we get some sort of military victory, and then I can ride into the midterms on that. Everyone else will forget everything else. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. The last point I want to bring up is that, the trying to kill the leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khomeini, is like, in Shia Islam, like the number 2 highest religious figure in the land. This would be like, this would be real similar to, like, imagine a nation trying to take out the Pope. You know what I'm saying? This is like the significance of this attack. So right now, what I also predict here in America is due to the Biden's administration policies, which was by design, CIA allowed this to happen, is they allow sleeper cells to infiltrate, our borders. And so I anticipate, various forms of domestic terrorism, unfortunately, potentially to start breaking out here in America, because again, right now, the American people are going to turn against the government real hard. So, they have to, there's some real new distractions that will have to take place. So, that's what I'm anticipating. And then worst case scenario, of course, is the nuclear element of this, because Russia and China are providing space reconnaissance to Iran. So they're able to target American ships and vessels and fight this far way more effectively than what they would have without this level of support. So that's a significant dimension as well. So this thing could very well go nuclear, because after about 2 weeks at best, America runs out of missiles. The only thing left is her nuclear arsenal. And then, what will happen then? We just saw in the 12-day war, Israel begged, please stop them, stop. You know what I mean? Just stop this war. You know what I mean? They came up with a ceasefire. That was for Israel's benefit, because they were getting pounded. And right now, just in the early stages, we haven't even seen the best of what Iran has yet. These are just
they haven't even brought out the F-22 yet.
Let me ask you next really quick. Do you agree that what the government in Iran today is the creation of the United States?
I mean, historically, if you want to, I would say not this particular government, itself, but, I would say, like, obviously when the Shah was in power, I mean, that absolutely was that this is not, this government we have now today is not ran by the United States inside of Israel or inside of Iran. If that were the case, then it would look like all the other nations that are affected, like Saudi Arabia and others.
The result of the American.
Shah, as an example, the Shah came into power after the United States ousted the left-wing government from the 50s. If you look at photos and imagery and videos of Iran in the 50s, you will see women wearing pants, women.
The Shah, absolutely. That was in the Shah.
There was a left-wing socialist government in power. The United States deposed that government. So when you kill left-wing forces and imprison them, it's an opening for right-wing forces to come in. And when the Shah came into power, the Shah was, was religious based power, but then there was like an extreme right-wing power, which was the Ayatollah Khomeini. So that's what's going on right now. These right-wing religious folks are in power, which is a bad thing, but at the same time, they are anti-U.S. imperialism. So you have to be on that side of the issue in this context.
Yeah, the majority of the people in Iran support the Iranian government. Now, where you find less support would be among the youth, and that's because the youth did not, they only know stories about what it was, back in the day when there was more, freedom, if you will. And of course, the youth are lean and gravitate more towards the West. They want to adopt some of the West values, but the OGs in Iran are like, man, these niggas is crazy over there, in the West. We don't want that here. You want your woman running around butt naked, disrespected, So, they're against that.
It's a theocracy, though. People support that out of fear.
Let me ask a question.
I would say the majority of people would support that government.
Listen. With that saying, the protest that happened over a few months ago in Iran, who was that? What was they protesting?
That's easy.
Was that the young? Wait, hold on. Was it the young people you said, or was it the older OGs? Who was out there protesting?
It was a combination of everybody at that time, because now we know that Mossad, CIA, and other intel these Western organizations start manufacturing a financial crisis inside the region to get the population to get mad and come to the streets. As a result, of that environment, and so legitimate protests broke out, which any nation deserves to have. The problem that took place was that they already had the CIA, Mossad, they had forces already inside the nation who then start opening fire, starting killing security forces and civilians to create chaos. And so this was their first attempt to destabilize the government, the region, and attempt overthrow and a decapitation of the regime. It failed miserably. It just united the country, and then now everything got exposed. And like I said, the country's more united than ever after that particular scenario. And so, like I said, as you guys giggle, that's because you guys are not focused on geopolitically what's taking place in the world. We're more focused on the things that are going on here in America, but they have an impact of what's going on here. And so, that failed, as has so far the decapitation strikes against Iran, and these renewed attacks, because right now, Ayatollah Khomeini is expected to deliver a speech, if he hasn't done it already, to the nation here momentarily, which will rally, the nation, the region. Like I said, China and Russia are already involved in this conflict. This will spiral into World War III. Because don't forget, we still have a Ukrainian situation going on as well, too.
next. I actually wasn't even gonna to add on to this, but I will just say this. When you kind of put off the youth there for the reasons that you did, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of an insult to the people that actually live there and see what they see and want what they want. I mean, the young people are basically the revolutionists that changed this country during the civil rights movement. I mean, the youth, I say this all the time. It may suck to say, but it's a good thing that people die, because the bottom line is old people try to hold on to old things. We evolve through the youth. So, I mean, I think that's an insult to them that are actually there as opposed to someone who's just reading. Now, I understand you read a lot of stuff. You got a lot of information. But again, it's still reading secondhand information as opposed to people with boots on the ground. I'm just saying.
No, sir. You get some of your intel. That's not my intel. How many?
I'm not saying my intel. I'm saying that that's what the people.
Are you Muslim? Are you Muslim? Do you know how many? Do you know my level of context I have within inside that community?
I'm not talking about me. You said the young people physically over there in that country.
How many young people, Iranians, do you know? I know some right here.
Do the next.
Right here, right now. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you what the sentiment is. And that doesn't change the reality.
Do the next. Do you understand that it doesn't matter what I know about that? I'm saying those people, you made an assessment about those people, and what I'm saying is that's a tough assessment considering that they're there and you're just an observer. I'm not talking about me. I don't have a dog in this race. You know what I'm saying? So if you went completely off the that was out of left field. I'm just saying, I'm not talking about my opinion. I'm talking about
it wasn't out of left field. I was asked in terms of about the protest that erupted. And like I said, it's important to note that those were legitimate protests that started off, that people had a grievance with their government about what was happening to them, which they didn't realize by outside forces, that was designed to usher in the operation that took place, which was, the one of the first more recent moves to change that regime. And it failed. And like I said, when it comes to the youth,
I wasn't addressing it. Is Iran a theocracy? Yes or no?
I know Iran is not a theocracy.
Okay, that's where we differ. But I beg to
it's not. Do you have Muslims in power and control? It's not theocracy.
If they subscribe to the,
it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid.
If they subscribe to that law, I don't know if
it's the United States a theocracy?
Wait, what law do Iran subscribe to? The Sunni or Shiite?
It's Sunni.
All right, so if they subscribe,
Shia.
If they subscribe to the Shiite law, doesn't that make him a theocracy?
No, like I said, right now, if you go to Iran, like women aren't required to wear hijabs and whatnot, and things of that nature. But there is a level, like I said, it's a hybrid. We're doing semantics right now. If you want to look at base level understanding, it's closer to a theocracy than it would be a Western democracy. You know what I mean? For sure. But it's a hybrid, it's just like Russia. People think Russia is a communist, a nation, you know what I mean? And it's not a communist nation, it's run, there's a government, there are laws in place, there's not, a one person solely in power that makes all the calls, so again, it's
about Russia?
Yeah, I'm talking about Russia, absolutely.
I mean,
Vladimir is not solely in power.
Since 1991.
No, I mean, he's not. So he's been elected multiple times and will continue to get elected. Like I said, I stated on this show that Vladimir Putin is, a top leader this century for sure, without a doubt.
Yeah, I would argue about that. See, when you say stuff like semantics, it's not an issue of semantics. It's an issue of understanding definitions. If we don't agree on the definitions, we can't actually reach any logical place. So
but what's the point? We can get past the definition. Like I said, I'm saying it's a hybrid.
If we don't agree on the same definitions, we can't have a discussion about it. So then we have to move on.
That's not true at all. Well, we don't agree on the same definition when it comes to nigga. You know what I mean? To me, nigga is something derogatory.
You said Iran is not a theocracy.
It's not derogatory.
You said it's not a theocracy, and then you said it's a hybrid. You got to stick to it. If it's not, it's either not a theocracy or it's a hybrid.
I
believe that it's a theocracy. But you're saying
I would say it's more of a hybrid
hybrid
government. But again, even but for the sake of the discussion, okay, let's go with democracy. Now what?
All right.
I feel like not.
Now what?
So he
There's
said,
no sharing of power. There's decisions are made by clerical authority. That is the reason you would have protests. That's not who wants to live on a theocracy.
No, that's not exactly why.
I'm not.
Protests arrive in a country when people's quality of life is not what they expect and want and desire. That's why people oppose their government. And
their choices are not.
They're
not honored because they're clerical decisions.
And normally it's like who gets to decide who, what, where, when, and how. That decision is being made from the top down by clerics, by theologians. Divorced from the political reality, divorced from material reality. They're making decisions based on divine decree and things like that. That's not the type of rule that is democratic or sharing.
Right. That's not Iran that you're describing. You know what I mean? So again, when you speak out of ignorance, you know what I mean? So it's like, where do we could talk about facts, and semantics. We could even argue.
Hey, let's go to commercials.
Okay.
La Brea Trucking for all of your trucking needs. East Coast to West Coast, West Coast to East Coast, North to South, South to North. You need something to deliver. Y'all saw the phone number at the end. Call him. He's a black-owned business. He delivers across the country. He has a fleet of trucks. He can deliver whatever you need to be delivered to wherever it needs to go. Call the brother. You saw the number at the end. You're muted.
That's gobealive.org. Go get you some of that black honey. And if you want it in person, go to the Petty Vice in Venice or to the Afro City Marketplace at the Crenshaw Mall. Salute, Sister Nidra.
Focus Up Network. Salute. Membership. Salute. Appreciate you.
Hey, salute to our brother Cam. Happy belated Savior's Day to all of my Muslim family in the Nation of Islam. I hope y'all had a wonderful Savior's Day. I saw all the videos and footage on Facebook. Salute. I remember when I was at FOI going to those Savior's Days and having a wonderful time being amongst other Muslims. So I hope y'all had a wonderful time. But now let's get to the real war that everybody want us to talk about. Let's get to the real war.
Great
important
transition.
war. The important war.
That's right.
Yeah. Perfect segue. Where
the Harris family versus Fitty.
Man.
Brother Walk. I'm gonna give you first bite at this apple. What you got to say about this?
I think it's going too far.
On whose side?
Split 50.
Okay.
Really. The diss tracks from T.I.'s was kind of mediocre, kind of trash, to be honest. I gave them like 2 listens apiece, and I think they both should just stop. Just stop. I don't think this is good for hip hop at all. He disrespecting that man's wife, which to me, if you do that with my wife, there is no music making. I gotta see you. You know what I'm saying? And he need to get at his son for even responding, because he a goofy and a lame. His job is being T.I.'s son. That's he don't make no money other than, you know what I'm saying, maybe his Twitter account or something, but get a job or go to school, young man. Like, he's just a little kid that's trying to find his way. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking this is going too far. And I think I want it to stop right now.
I have to respond. To Walk. Listen, man. To me, this is one of the best,
Ding, ding.
best battles in hip hop ever. And let me explain why. Listen, I didn't like King because of the antics that he did in the past. And I knew about his son Damani, but this is a perfect storm for the whole T.I. family. T.I. came with them songs. He came with fire. I love them all. I love them. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. And I wait for 50 to respond. He didn't respond because his rap skills ain't there no more. That's just the fact. That's just what it is. He ain't nobody looking for 50 Cent new song. T.I. came, because remember, before this happened, he came with that song, Let Him Know, whatever, and he came with that song, and it was hitting the charts. It was a good song. People love it. And now this is just aftermath. So it's back to the family aspect. The whole family step in. You ain't talking about my mama. King stepped up and said what he said, disrespectful. I didn't like that. Talking about somebody's dead mother, that's disrespectful. But he did what he had to do because nobody defines or say what you can do in war. If you start a war, it's war. It's all things on the table. So I love that. And Damani, he killed him with that song. Let me stop because I got a lot to say, but I ain't going to hog the board. But Damani killed it. I love that Damani song on 50 Cent. I love it.
Brother Hayes, what's your position on all this?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not really a fan of the back and forth, but I understand it from King's standpoint. One of the most secret things in hip hop is what we just never went after somebody's mother. Like that's like off limits. However, if somebody came after my mom, right? I do understand the retaliation part of it, and King wanted to stand up. I'm not a fan of his music, but I definitely understand it. But generally, I don't think that this is a good thing for the culture because now it opens doors where usually if I had a problem with somebody, and I'm just talking just from a rap beef standpoint, right? We just went after the other person or maybe the crew, and that was it. You know, it was just kind of like within there. 50 did start this out with T.I. wanting to have a versus. He wanted to have a versus, and he brought up Tiny, and that's petty. Like that had no place in it. So, in my opinion, that's where it started. 50 had no business doing that, and I think in the way that he is and being 50 cents and being petty, I think he thought it just kind of would be within that realm. But
I think
now you got family involved.
Vic, I think that's too nice.
Family involved.
Vic, I think that's too nice. Too nice to call it petty, because I call it sucker shit. You saying petty? That's too nice to be into 50. Okay. That was sucker shit to me. You know, bringing the wife in and all that. You know what I'm saying? So let's call it what it is. That was sucker shit that he did that. Like, but again,
wait. What exactly? Just so I understand what we're talking about. What exactly did he do?
50 when he started posting pictures of Tiny and brought her into the beef.
So all he did was post a picture of her, right?
With her BBL looking
they were
bad.
They were unflattering pictures of her. Like.
Go ahead, nice guy. Go ahead.
Right. He didn't say anything.
All I saw was the picture with her face.
Nah, he put a picture of her performing on stage, and her BBL was out. It was like he said, unflattering, and he said something in the comments. I forgot what he said, but it's like, okay, are we bringing in our women? Okay. And then, T.I. said, oh, okay, that's not cool.
Was it a real picture or was it a fake picture?
It was a real picture.
Okay.
It was a real picture.
It's a real picture. It was a real picture.
He brought that out.
Now imagine we see these entertainers do these things, but then there's a backside to it. It's they got family, and in that, like I'll give you another example. I come up with the Woo and Mr. Nice Guy. You know this because sometimes I'm on these hip hop threads and I see comments that are being made about Method Man, U-Guard, you name it. I know that I can't always interject in those because people are just going to believe what they're going to believe. Can you imagine being like the sister or the brother of some of these people and some of the things that are saying that you know are erroneous? I'm saying that as just a random friend of these guys, right? Much less your mom is being attacked. So I totally understand from King's standpoint. Do I think the rap was whack and weak? Yes. But I definitely understand why he would go after 50. But so 50 is culpable in this. You know, I'm putting this on him, and that's why I feel like it's not good for the culture. You know, it's not. You know, I know that's kind of like that's been his MO. You know, starting like beef. And then getting it talked about, but he took it too far. He did.
All right.
So normally with him, you and I, and
brother Afro Agnostic, what's your take on this?
Dig your mama up. I think that King, I think that should be a mantra. Whenever 50 Cent goes on the troll, everyone should respond, dig your mama up. Because because I think it's very effective because I'm a middle school teacher. In middle school, guess what we call this? Cyberbullying. We have all types of parent conferences and conflicts between students because of exactly what 50 Cent is doing. He's not a master wizard. He's just a troll. And he does it for personal amusement. He literally put out a post saying that his job was to entertain and stir emotions. He didn't even mention that that's his job, but how does he get paid? He gets paid in your pain. You know what I'm saying? Like he breaks relationships. This dude trolled his own son. So I mean, he's actually really a sadist. And when I looked at a short list of people who he has trolled, Ja Rule, Rick Ross, Fat Joe, The Game, Prince Montana, T.I., Lil Wayne, aside from Madonna, they're all black people. So he's causing black pain for his own personal amusement, not even for money. Just personal. We'll talk later about how this is consistent with his rap career and his songs. Like if you listen to the first album, every song has a reference to violence, shooting, and causing some type of pain in the black community. So, and somehow because we're focused on the gays and the transsexuals and the immigrants, we don't see that how this has become the norm. He made a song about sex trafficking. I'm a PIMP. But we celebrate it. We dance to it. But this is
welcome to hip hop. Welcome to hip hop. Look, his community, who he's dealing with, are black people. People I have beef with in the streets with black people. That's who I deal with and who are around my circumference.
That's your circumference. He's a oval. That's not his. He's interacting with white people.
But I don't get where. This is something fairly new.
Hey, take the mask off so we can hear you better, Walt.
This is something.
Hey, man, for the bombs, man. Put that shit back on. Don't listen to me.
This is something. Look, this is something fairly new. Where black folks is talking like, "Oh, all you doing is going after black people. All you doing is." This is something fairly new. I'm hearing dealing with the hip hop game and stuff like that. And certain comedians, all you do is talk about black people. Yeah, that's who I'm dealing with. These are two guys. We just feeling like, and this is good debate that we're doing on this show because we're discussing now. This is going a little too far in the hip hop game. A son talking about dig your mama up, and he putting his wife out there. Tupac had a legit thing. He really did fuck his girlfriend. He fucked your wife. They're all the same age. Nobody's dead. You know what I mean? Nobody was there at the time. So
people died. But
let me
say about that.
Before you jump in, student next. Before you jump in, let me just put this out there. Where's the picture? Okay, the manhood part. My reason I'm on Team T.I. because King did come out and he apologized to 50 Cent's son because he disrespected his grandmother. So he came out and apologized. That's some man shit, and I believe that's what good fathering does. He teaches, however wild that little boy is, he teaching that man that, hey, you got to come and fix that. And he came out and fixed it. Much respect. Go ahead, student next.
Yeah, brother, you know I don't know nothing about all this right here, but what I do find just interesting, just in general, is that this is exactly why the OGs in Iran don't be wanting this foolishness up in their country. You know what I'm saying? I'm just straight up, right? It's just but hey, shout out. I hope that when things get worked out, and things can be done, amicably and and peace in the streets,
All right. El Pooh, you gonna come in? You got something to say about this, brother? El Pooh, you there? You gone.
Yeah, look, I agree. The mothers, first of all, putting the wife out there, because we keep talking about mother. He wasn't having an issue with the sons. He wasn't having an issue with T.I. So the real issue was putting somebody's wife out there. I understand that that's your mother and you feel, but again, he just put a picture of your mother up. He didn't put a fake picture. That's what your mother really looks like. You know what I'm saying? This is something that really happened with your mother. Now, if he had some shady comments about it, to me, that takes it to that type of level. But there's no way that I'm saying that it's okay to be talking about somebody's dead mama. Like Walk says, once you bring my wife into the situation, now I got to see you. Maybe that's some man shit. Maybe we got to fight. Once you talking about my dead mama, nigga, it's death. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't even buy that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just like, whatever, like this. It's just like, I'm just saying that to me, that was crossing the line. I wouldn't even think to cross that line. It wouldn't even come off as a flex. I wouldn't be like, look what I just did right there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, I don't buy that shit at all. Yeah, 50 is a troll. He does what he does. I'm not going to act like he's a righteous person. He's not going to act like he's a righteous person. But again, you talk about the greater crime that's being committed, talking about somebody's dead mama. Fuck all that. That's all I got to say.
All right.
So let me say this. That is the greater crime. But 50 is not a young person, right? He's 50. Ironically,
for the record, you're from New York, right? For the record, you're from New York, so everybody expects you to be on 50. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So, I think what he does, though, not only is he a troll, though, but he's doing things that culturally, amongst all of us, he's breaking protocol by, again, if there's beef between you and I, right, especially the way we all came up, that beef is with us, maybe with our camps, right? So it can extend to your camps, but you never brought girlfriends, wives, mothers, or any of his other stuff in there. So he is calculated in doing these things, because if T.I. is coming at him, what would be the need to bring up his wife? Like that's like something that on the street, the way we all came up, right? Somebody, you and I got like, we talking beef. Now you bring up like my girl. Now we got to fight. And now we got to fight. But this is a new age.
You call somebody a pussy, so we got to fight, right? I'm just saying, you call somebody a pussy, you gotta fight. I'm saying he's calling him a pussy before
California, New York, Texas, DC, Chicago. It is all the same within
this whole thing that he's upset about is him kind of acting like a girl because he's not getting his verses. You know what I'm saying? It's just like he's talking about 50. Buster been like, dude, let's do this. You ain't got nothing to say about Buster, but you sitting there dropping track after track about 50. And I will say,
wait a minute. Go ahead. Ain't nobody going against Buster.
Well, if you're scared. But I'm just saying, T.I. is not winning on the strength against 50 in no verses. I mean, that's just what it is. So I'm just saying, if for whatever reason, what the dude didn't want to participate, look,
scared.
T.I. is punching up.
You got to remember, he got his first buzz, and I'm talking about 50, right? He got his first buzz by doing that single "How to Rob." He had other singles,
he punched up.
But "How to Rob" is what got him noticed, which was
before that first album, Mr. Floyd X.
right.
Was before,
and he went after he went after everybody in the industry. So that is inherently like his MO. But the difference with that versus what he does now is that he went after the rappers. He wasn't going after the girls, the moms, any of that other stuff. So it stayed within the culture, but it was a dangerous kind of thing still, because like, you gotta remember, he wasn't 50 Cent who we think of now. This is like, who is this dude coming at me? You know, like, so when you listen to it, if you listen to it now, it's kind of like, yeah, it makes sense.
They can talk about robbing me. Bring it. Come on.
At that time, yeah, right. At that time, it was, you know, it was really like, man, that's just crazy. Who is that guy? So he's kind of like has stayed with the formula to a certain degree, because that's really what kind of got the buzz going for him. Because just going after somebody is not enough.
Sorry to interrupt you, brother.
Yeah,
but,
I'm sorry.
We're at the end of the show, but
What
do we got
say?
time for drive-by? I know y'all got y'all show coming up. Nice guy. We got time for drive-bys?
Yeah, we can do it. We can get our stuff together in pretty quick time, right? Afro agnostics.
Yeah, we kind of flexible, right? With the
real quick, we just address it real quickly. So I want to talk Gavin Newsom. Oh, it's without an E.
We can't do that quickly.
I mean, just say, was it disrespect for the black people or not?
Of course not.
Let's start with brother Student X. Was it disrespect for the black people or not? Gavin Newsom.
Bro, y'all come up with so many distractions. I don't even know what y'all even talking about, bro. You know what I mean? I saw some memes you guys had going on, but I don't know nothing about what Gavin, says significance. You know what I mean? Right now.
So let Walk. Go ahead. Walk.
It wasn't disrespectful.
I won't say it was disrespectful to black people. I think it was condescending toward just the American voters. And how pathetic is it that Gavin Newsom only story to relate to the common man is something he did 41 years ago, the SAT test. Come on, bro. Like, so that's just who he is. And he's a fucking liar.
Walk revised this argument. That's a good one.
Yeah, he did. Wait. But I want to stress that
he
revised his argument. He had to take a knee before we even started.
Yeah.
I told you I'm going to cook y'all niggas on this. I wish
he's your leading Democratic candidate, by the way.
Hey.
Go ahead. Go.
That was a good argument, Walk.
I'm going to come back to you, Afro. What were you saying, Brother Hayes? You said that on this, we're not talking about Gavin Newsom.
Yeah,
we're talking about this particular.
Yeah, I'm talking about Gavin Newsom.
But we're talking about the event that he had.
Right, exactly.
So
go ahead.
The question. So
go ahead. So the first thing that I want to bring up, right? This is Georgia, right? And he was talking to a predominantly Georgia voter crowd, which was predominantly Caucasian. All right, so let's throw that out there right out the beginning. All right. So it's fake outrage because of the fact that they said Atlanta, because the assumption is when you think Atlanta, it's going to be black people. But the fact of the matter is the majority of the people that he was talking to were white Democrat liberals that he was speaking to. Definitely some black people there, but overall, more whites than blacks. All right. So that's the first thing. Second thing, what he did, which I guess you could spin, he was trying to make a point that he was like just like everybody else in the audience, saying that he got like a 960. If you listen to it in its entirety, instead of like the blurbs of the clips, you will get the full context of the fact of what he was saying. So those are two of the most key points out of this, in my opinion, and just observing what had transpired. And being taken out of that is that he's insulting black people, saying that you're almost as dumb.
We're gonna go shoot it up. We gotta shoot it up fast because you can't do a drive-by slow. You're going too slow on the drive-by.
He just summed it up, but he bottomed out saying it's a dumb position to take. But go ahead, Mr. Agnostics.
Let me address real quick. Let me just say my part real quick. I'm gonna be real quick. Listen. I hate when motherfuckers try to relate to somebody. Just like if a white dude, I don't care if he's talking black or white, but if he say, and he talking to a black guy, I say, hey, I like chicken too. Don't say shit like that to me. So when he talked to that crowd, whether it was black or white, and he's saying, I'm dumb like y'all, he basically was saying, I'm dumb like y'all. So miss me with that shit. That's my take.
Sorry, Afronac. I got
to jump in. I have much to say on it because Walk changed, the Fox News take on it. So I'm good.
Yeah, so again, he wasn't trying to relate to anybody. He was saying that, look, I'm a person that, first of all, 960 is not dumb. That's very insulting to say that. You know that the average SAT score for black people is like 900. You know what I'm saying? 960 is not dumb. It's just that he said, look, I'm not better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. So the bottom line is I'm not in a position that I can act like I'm smarter than everybody. That was the context. He wasn't saying that I'm dumb. He wasn't saying that how much you got. You know, he's just saying that bottom line is, look, if I'm a 960 SAT guy, I'm not the person to be on the high horse. And he says, look, I've never read speeches because I can't read speeches because I have dyslexia. He made the exact
That's a
same
fucking
point.
lie.
That's literally the truth.
If he can read, he can read a speech.
Dude, I have dyslexia too, and I'm just saying that it's just that people have there's levels of dyslexia. So, you know, you do flip stuff. I flip stuff all the time. The reason why I don't write by hand, because I start writing out a sequence. I'll literally put a 1, skip over, put a 3 back over, and it's like it's all garbled. You know what I'm saying? That's why I have to.
So what about when he said I read a 300-page book in like 2 or 3 hours?
Again, because reading a book as opposed to a speech is a whole bunch of different situations.
I'm out of here. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, because again, if you don't understand, if your person has dyslexia, you don't understand what it is. I have dyslexia, so I understand how dyslexia impacts you, and I understand that, you know, there's magnitudes of dyslexia. But that's why a person like, for example, Jay-Z, he raps off the top. Even though he writes and all of this stuff, he doesn't read off of it. And as a person who's an artist who actually rapped and recorded and stuff like that, I'm telling you, your presentation is going to be completely different when you're going off the top than when you're sitting there going off your phone or reading.
I think Wong has a long history of diagnosing people for dyslexia. You know,
he's an expert in that field. Let me make one more point. I got one more point to make, and I'm gonna say this.